What's good, everybody? It's your boy Chris, and welcome to another one of my movie reviews. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Venom, the standalone spin-off movie for one of Spider-Man's greatest and most popular villains, Venom. With this movie, everyone was saying this was a bad idea, mainly because they were trying to do a Venom movie without Spider-Man. And anyone who knows anything about the source material will tell you that's a really just bad idea. Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. You're going to be betraying what the character was. But the whole thing is mainly because the movie getting made is because Sony wants to do sort of their own thing, wants to be greedy, wants to be separate from the MCU and sort of do their own franchise of villains and whatnot. So we got this movie, Venom, and the result is an absolute piece of shit. Now look, it's sort of tough to review this movie without comparing it to the source material. Because you want to see how does the movie stand alone on its own. Don't want to hinder yourself too much to what it was previously, the source material, because they are trying to do their own movie. But it's really tough to do that because the whole character's what he is and entrenched in that source material. And I'm just going to start by talking about that right now. This is an absolute fucking disgrace to what Venom is supposed to be. His character, his motivation, none of it. Now this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler in terms of what's not in this movie. So if you consider what's not in a movie a spoiler, you've been warned. But it's not really a spoiler to say that, here it goes, Spider-Man does not have a presence in this movie. That was the whole debate of what people were thinking. Are they going to have any connection to Spider-Man? What exactly is going on? As far as we know, according to this movie, there is no Spider-Man here. And when you do that in a universe trying to do Venom, you're not just getting what's so good about the character. It was his hatred for Spider-Man what's made him so cool. To go along with those powers and his look. Yeah, sure, he looked cool, but the whole thing that was great about Venom initially was how he tortured Spider-Man, how he was just his greatest foe, how he knew everything about him, combined with his powers and how cool he looked. That is all stripped away here. What you get here is a generic story of science, labs, a host and a symbiote, which we've seen that a whole bunch of times in movies, sort of an alien parasite going on to a human. What makes it really interesting is its connection to Spider-Man. That's what makes it a cool story. And you just do not get that here at all. Because as far as we know, there is no Spider-Man in this universe. They dropped maybe a few little Easter eggs, or maybe one mainly to say that Eddie was from New York. But as far as we know, there's no connection to Spider-Man, not even mentioned, nothing, zero. So right off the bat, once I realized that was happening through this movie, I thought, okay, automatic fail right there. You just completely butchered it. You freaking butchered it, what Venom is. So, but then, okay, you say, okay, it's failing as a Venom movie. It's failing in terms of what the character is supposed to be. Sure, he looks cool, but so what? How is it as its own movie? You know, it was stripping away from the source material. And what it is, it's really dull and generic, and it takes you back to those early 2000s when people were doing superhero movies and they had no idea what they were doing. Sure, you'd get some good ones like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2, X-Men 1 and 2, and Nolan's Batman trilogy, of course, stuff like that. But you were also getting some bullshit like Ang Lee's Hulk, Daredevil, Elektra, Fantastic Four, and of course the most infamous example, Catwoman, which is actually perfectly represents or is the example of what this movie was, trying to do a villain movie, distancing itself from the hero. What you get is just a really generic story of nothing special. You get a plot that doesn't make any sense. You get a villain who's just like really making stupid decisions. His motivation is dumb. How he becomes an even greater villain is even dumber. Story that's just really stupid, doesn't try and make sense, not cool at all. The symbiote's reason for why it kind of likes Eddie is really borders on like romantic and shit like that. The cast, they do it as well as they can do. Tom Hardy is actually would actually have been really good casting for Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3 if they wanted to get the whole journal thing right. Because he's older, he looks more mature. he would have been good in that role. And I think he's good for what he does here, but him and the rest of the cast, they can only do so much to save this fucking shit script, man. This really generic, trying to be funny but not funny script. Although I say that, there were a few moments here and there where the symbiote would sort of crack some one-liners that were kind of funny. It was a little overdone though, and the voice that he was making reminded me more of Freddy Krueger than anything else. Venom is supposed to, I think the best Venom voice is sort of growly, but has sort of an echo effect to signal that it is like we, as in Eddie and the symbiote. So you don't get that here. In this day and age when movies are sort of going, superhero movies, especially the MCU, are going above and beyond to do movies that are faithful to the source material, but are still appealing to the mainstream, are respecting the source material. To do a Venom movie like this, when you had a second chance, you had Spider-Man Homecoming that sort of saved the day for Spider-Man, and to come around and do this, wow. Wow, Sony. And yeah, I don't want to see any of that villain movie crap they have going, like Black Cat and Silver Sable movie, their Morbius movie, their Craven movie. None of that bullshit. I want this movie to fail so we don't get any of that stuff. And I never say I want movies to fail for financially, but this one I do want to, because I don't want to see no more of what Sony has to offer, unless they're teamed up with Marvel. Because of course I'm definitely looking forward to Spider-Man Far From Home. But this movie, I'm going to give a 4 out of 10. This is probably the second worst movie I've seen this year. The worst movie I saw this year was a few weeks ago, Predator. That was really bad also. This, actually, I think the best thing I could say about it is that I was never bored. I was entertained because there was always something happening on screen that I was just laughing at. Not in the way they were intending me to laugh, but still, y'all know what I mean. So I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I hope y'all can tell that I didn't really like this one so much. And I'll see y'all around with another video.